Keith, from a footballing perspective on the pitch under Sean Dyche, do you imagine that Everton are going to stay up? Will this really be a driving factor for them going forwards in the season?
You certainly hope so. I mean, if there was to be a manager that you wanted in a situation like this, it would be Sean Dyche. I have a huge amount of respect for him. I talked to him to try and get him to Aston Villa when I was there.
Okay.
And so I've got a very high opinion of Sean.
Was that when you were in the Championship at Villa, or was
correct?
That,
that's when we were in the Championship. And
when Steve Bruce was manager, was it?
Correct. Steve Bruce came in after Roberto Di Matteo.
Yeah.
And we got into the playoff final with Steve the next season.
Yeah.
But it was going to be either Steve or Sean, really, was what we were thinking at the time.
Yeah.
But I think Sean is the right one to go for it. But look, injuries, who knows what's going to happen the rest of the season. It's difficult to say. I mean, the games that Everton already lost at the start of this season, particularly against Luton, could come back to haunt us, in a big way. And so we've really got to be careful now and move forward. I'm also a little bit worried that the length of the appeal process will mean that no resolution will change the whole mindset and mentality of not only Everton but also the opponents.
Yeah.
If suddenly the appeal takes till like the last game of the season, and then nobody knows whether there's going to be another 5 points added or not, it's playing havoc with the mentality of games and how people are going to set up for different matches.
Yeah, and also it affects the integrity of the league itself, wouldn't it?
It really does, because, as I say, people are going to set up differently depending on the outcome they think they need to stay up or whatever. It's a really worrying situation the Premier League have forced themselves into from many, many different aspects.
And Keith, if we look at it from a footballing perspective as well, I think that game on the weekend, obviously, we saw the anti-Premier League protest at Goodison Park. Garnacho scored that out of this world goal. I think that really took the sting out of the game. Are you expecting then now, week on week, Evertonians to turn up and to keep protesting? Is this an ongoing thing you think is going to happen at grounds?
Yeah, without doubt, it will do. The Everton fans are fantastic for that sort of thing. I mean, I'm still very, very fond of the club and really enjoyed my time there. Unfortunately, I resigned on a matter of principle at the time when I was there, and that was a corporate governance issue. But maybe the previous executive team should have resigned on a matter of principle as well.
Would you go back now, Keith? Would you go back to Everton? You obviously still got, you still love the club. Would you?
Yeah, look, I would love to go back and try and help them out of this mess. And it's obviously a difficult situation with the present bid from 777, etc. And I think things are probably on a standstill while that negotiation is going on. But there's no doubt I'd do anything I could to try and help the club in any way. And it would be an interesting time to try and do it. But I joined Villa when they'd just been relegated, and I joined Everton the first time when it was in a complete mess, and we just sold Wayne Rooney. And then we went on to have the most successful period this century for the club. So hopefully we could turn things around.
So how important is it to have that stability in the boardroom and from the senior management of the club as well? Because it obviously is chaotic at Everton, particularly under Moshiri, and there's lots of stories you hear from sort of third parties about he doesn't really listen to his executive team, and that includes on recruitment. We've seen all that with some of the transfers over the years. So having that stability at the club, was that absolutely vital to the success of the David Moyes era?
Yeah, it was. I mean, at that time, it was myself, Bill Kenwright, and David Moyes. So just the three of us really ran the club, and that worked very well. Wow. I think the issue with Moshiri has been that he was spending, at the time he was spending the money, he didn't have the correct people in place to spend that amount of money that understood what it meant to buy and to trade in that sort of level of deal. And he didn't have a strong enough executive team prepared to stand up and say the things against some of the decisions that were being made. And that's one thing that I did. I mean, I always spoke up. And as I say, in the end, I actually resigned over a point of principle. But that's something that, Moshiri wanted to run the club in a certain way. Some owners do, but it takes a strong executive team to do it. Now more than ever, it would take a strong chief executive to be there to stand up and to assist the manager and let him focus on the football side and to be a bit more visible in terms of the public and the fan base, and to be a central point that can take a lot of the pressure away from Sean Dyche. I mean, I saw in his recent press conference, straight away, Sean is becoming almost a spokesman for the club, and that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, and you see that a lot, don't you, though, at Premier League
Yeah.
clubs who are in these difficulties, and the executives go missing, the owner goes missing. And
It's so wrong.
It's so wrong, isn't it? Because effectively they're just a head coach, not even a manager sometimes.
Yeah, correct. It's so wrong, and it really is that the chief executive's role is important in these sort of situations.
Yeah.
That you do stand up, and you are the lightning rod that takes the criticism and handles that. But also you show the staff internally that you're there, and that you're standing up to issues, and that there's a clear way forward, and you're doing the very best. But at least you talk about it openly, and lead the staff rather than just sitting there.
You've just watched a segment from Football Insider's brand new podcast, The Inside Track, with me, Lewis Pearce, alongside the guests on the show. Thanks very much for tuning in. Please do give the video a like, comment your thoughts on the topic, and feel free to share on your social media pages. If you want to listen to the full podcast episode, click the link in the description below. Keep your eyes peeled for plenty more content and exclusives here on The Inside Track.